This is a WanderBug update.
It's been a while since we've done an update on our Baja Bug project.
Yeah, we've got a lot done since you saw it last, so let's get started.
For those of you who don't know, this is our to-do list. On this side, we have our needs, and on this side, we have our wants. The new metal fuel line is in.
Yeah, this is our old line. As you can see, there's rubber lines, there's a plastic fuel filter, there's these worm clamps. All these things will fail eventually, and being right next to the engine, right next to the hot exhaust, it may cause a catastrophic fire. So we changed everything out to a steel braided line with real fittings instead of worm clamps.
Oil filter, cooler, and temp gauge.
Yeah, the Volkswagen air-cooled engine does not have a real oil filter in it, which to me that's disturbing. All it is a coarse screen down by the oil pickup. So we put in a remote oil filter, a big oil filter, a normal type of oil filter, and we put a cooler on here with a fan just in case the oil gets too hot. It is an air-cooled engine, but it also gets cooled by the oil too. So that cooler will work great, has a fan that we can turn on and off. And what else was on there? Oh, the temp gauge. We actually have a oil temperature gauge and an oil temperature warning light on the dash now.
Tires.
Tires and wheels. Last episode we showed you some new rims that we bought. Nice chrome American racing rims. In fact, here's one right here. Turns out that, and I didn't know when we bought them, these are actually 14 inch. We wanted 15. The ad on Marketplace said that they were 15s. The woman was just cleaning out a shed of her father's who just passed away. She didn't know how to correctly measure them. So I can't blame her, but yeah, these are actually 14 inch rims. I got a set of 4. If you're interested, you need some 14 by, I think they're 8 inch American Racing chrome wheels, let us know. And we got new tires. On the back, we got 30 inch tall by about 10 inch wide. They're Goodyear Duratrax, right? Yeah. And in the front, we got some Goodyear all-season tires on there. I can't remember the size. I think they're like 28 inches tall by maybe 8 inches wide, but those handle really nice, a lot better than those little tiny skinny stock ones.
Oh, a whole lot better.
And I almost forgot, we got some new wheels. They are like, well, the rears are actual centerline wheels, which I loved back from the 80s, growing up in the 80s. That was the rage with centerline aluminum wheels. So we got, the rears are genuine centerline. The fronts are Kraggers that look just exactly like the back center lines.
They're pretty sexy.
They are nice.
Next, we replaced the gas tank. Now, I was not thrilled about this, but now that he's got it in, I kind of like it.
Yeah, well, you may remember that when we bought the Bug, it had this kind of rat rod kind of tank in it. This, they took the old tank out. We do have the old tank, which we put back in. This sat up high and back a little bit than the original. It did allow access to the fuel pump and the brake master cylinder, but it took up a lot of space in the cargo area. So I put the stock tank back in, and it sits forward a little bit more in the car, getting the weight forward, and it sits down in there a little bit. What's really cool about the old tank, and this sounds kind of stupid, but there's no fuel gauge in this car. I think it might have been an option back in 1960, but we didn't get that option. So what it is you actually, to check your level, take the cap off, put a stick in it, and you check it that way. And another really cool thing is when you're starting to run out of gas. Here, wait a second, I'll go get something. Okay, this is the pickup in the stock tank. This is where the fuel comes in through the screen and out through the hose. And right here, you can see that you can turn, there's a valve right here. And what that does is normally fuel goes in through this one, which is taller. But when you're running out of gas, when you feel it chugging, running out of gas, there's a lever down by the accelerator pedal. You turn that a quarter of a turn, and that turns this valve, and then it starts picking up off the shorter pickup in the tank. So you're starting to run out, you still have over a gallon of gas left in the bottom of the tank that'll get sucked through this one. I think that's pretty freaking cool.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's cool. And if anybody needs a gas tank, it's for sale. Message us.
Fuse panels and relays.
Yeah, it turns out that the wiring, all the original wiring has been taken out before we even got it. It originally was a 6-volt generator car. It's now a 12-volt alternator car. Yeah, everything was taken out and replaced with some kits. The original or previous owner put this kit in, which is intended for like a old hot rod type of thing. And unfortunately, I found that the wiring in it, a lot of it, was way undersized for the amount of amps going through them, especially the main feed from the battery up to the front that powered everything, lights, ignition, radio, wipers, everything. It was way undersized. And we are very paranoid about car fires caused by electrical fires in a car. I've seen too many vehicles burned to the ground because of improper wiring. So instead of just piecing it together, I just took everything out and I redid everything. I've got fuses for everything now. The original little fuse box that was in there had maybe 6 fuses in it. Now I've got more than enough. And for the higher amp circuits, like the headlights, the fuel or the oil fan back here, a couple others, I made relays. I made a relay panel for those, so that all those amps go through a relay instead of a switch. And yeah, and the switches are all redone and sized properly. So now I have no issues with anything starting on fire.
So eventually we could trailer a hot tub, and next we replace the front shocks.
Yeah, I was wondering why it rode so rough in the front. I just thought that maybe it was because there's hardly any weight on the front suspension now because, you know, things have been taken off.
And it's old.
And it's old. But it turns out, one day I was working underneath the frunk, in the front trunk, and I was pushing down on it, and I noticed it wasn't pushing down at all. And I got on the bumper, and I pushing down on it, and it would not go down. Come to find out that our front shocks are froze solid. These are some old Bilsteins that came with it, and they're very greasy. I need a paper towel. So yeah, these are froze up for some reason. Both of them did it at the same time. So I went on Amazon, bought some cheap ones, put those on, and they're working fine. Ride's nice now.
It's like a bounce house.
It's a bounce house.
Side marker lights. Now, I really like the ones that we got with the Bug.
Yeah, there were those hot rod looking things that said stop.
They were so cool. They said stop.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you were driving behind the Bug, you couldn't see them.
Yeah, they had it was a glass lens on them, and it was a smoked lens, you know, thinking that's really cool.
And it was cool.
It was cool, but you just couldn't see them at all.
So the person behind us couldn't see brake lights, they couldn't see our turn signals.
Yeah, they were way too dim. So I went and I found some online. The ones we put on are, they're meant for semi-tractor trailers, marker lights and such, and the ones we have the 2 lights in it, so they service us with running lights and brake lights, turn signals, and side marker lights too, because we have to have side marker lights to be legal. We didn't have them on here before with those lights. And in the front, we just had those ridiculous little teeny tiny lights that didn't even serve as marker lights. They were just turn signals. So we had to get rid of those anyways. And the ones now, they're all LED and they're really super bright. One thing that we really want to make happen with this thing is have it be seen, because this is so sketchy dangerous. There's no safety in this vehicle at all. So we want other vehicles, other people to see us at all times. And those lights are working out fantastic. Now we've already erased, I had a crankcase breather on here, which that's already taken care of. So we just, never mind that. So what, air cleaner.
Air cleaner.
On the engine, yeah. It's going to be really dusty in the back here. You know how it is. You go down gravel roads and the aerodynamics of the car just makes the back end of a vehicle completely dusty. So we needed an air filter that we could clean regularly. And those little paper ones, paper element ones that you get, they're kind of expensive. So what we did is we got a foam air filter that you can clean. And it has an oil on it. Max, quit tearing shit up. Sorry, dog is tearing up that paper towel I threw down there. There's a, what was I talking about? Damn dog.
Air filter?
Yeah, air filter. And it has an oil coating on it, so it collects the dust and dirt even better. And on the outside of that, we have a nylon cloth filter to get the big particles out before it even reaches the foam filter. And that thing can be taken off really easy every night and cleaned up when you do dishes.
Every night?
Well, if it's dirty, yeah.
When you do dishes, so you're going to throw that in with the dishes?
When you do dishes, yeah.
So you're going to throw it in with the dishes? And,
why not?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Glad, as long as you're doing the dishes.
I cook, you do dishes. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. We're really happy with it. So on to the next.
On to the next, wipers.
Wipers, we're still
playing with those.
We're still playing with those. What it is we have the original wiper motor on there, and it's a 6-volt motor. And it doesn't work worth a crap, but what I have is I plumbed in for the lows, for the low, and that goes really slow. For that, I brought power through a resistor, bringing it down to the 6-volt. So that's cool. For the high, where they go really fast, I put straight 12-volt into it. And they go pretty good. Hopefully the motor will last.
We really haven't been out in a big rainstorm, so.
Not really.
So
next swap meet, or multiple swap meets. I don't know how hard this is going to be able to find, but I need to get, I think it's a 67 or newer 12-volt motor for it.
Wiper blade motor.
Wiper blade motor, and I think that has the 2 speeds in it. But right now, works great. And the washer, do we have that on there? No, that wasn't on there. I put in a little washer bottle I got off of Amazon. It was dirt cheap, and it works pretty good. The problem is the sprayer that's mounted on the hood to spray the windshield. I can't find one that works properly. The first one I got, it sprayed right down at the very bottom of the windshield, even below the wiper blades, and it didn't even get above the wiper blades wet.
You can't adjust the...
No, I tried. It just goes straight. Then I put another one in, and it actually goes up over the car. It doesn't even hit the windshield at all. And I've tried to adjust it too, and so that's a work in progress. I think we're better off just taking a bottle of water and doing it that way. We'll see how that goes.
Front bump stops.
Yeah, it didn't have any. Didn't have any of the rubber bump stops on it. It was just when the suspension hit, the topmost and bottommost, it was just metal on metal, and it was quite a jolt. So I just bought some off of, I think I got them through J-Bugs, just the urethane ones that you just pop on there, and now it takes up the shock wonderfully, a lot better than clang, clang, clang.
Run oil line through intake.
Yeah, this was something that we didn't do right away when we put the engine in. Seward Speed Shop took our intake manifold and tapped threads into it, because originally a Volkswagen gets heat for the intake manifold from the exhaust. There's these tubes that come up from the exhaust and heats the intake manifold, which is necessary to prevent carb icing and to keep the fuel suspended in the air as it passes through. It has to be heated. We didn't do that at first, but we got to it, and I just put, instead of those, we no longer can put exhaust through there, so I ran hot oil through it, which may not be as good as running hot exhaust through it, but it seems to be working good. So I have it plumbed from where it comes out of the engine, goes right through that intake manifold and then out to the oil filter and the oil cooler and then back into the engine. It seems to be working good. It's a good system.
Okay, so what's left on our needs list? Not as many now.
Not as many
We are
now,
whittling it down.
but they're kind of high dollar items. The roof rack, I know which one I want. There's a guy out in Idaho that makes them in his garage, and they're exactly what we want. We're able to put the spare tire up on top, place for some roof lights. Yeah, they're like it's like $800, something like that. So it's going to have to come soon, but we have other things to do. The roll bar.
That's a need. That's a necessity.
It
yes.
is, because that way we can put shoulder straps in this thing. Right now, all we have is a lap belt, and man, you kind of feel naked driving this thing.
It doesn't feel real safe, especially with no airbags.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's nothing. In fact, there's no cushion for the steering column either.
Yeah.
So when you hit that steering column, it's solid. So yeah, shoulder straps are a necessity. So that'll be coming. I think we'll do the roll bar and the side Nerf bars at the same time. Get them from, there's a place, what is it, Apple Tree over in Michigan. I think we'll run over there one day, save us some shipping costs and pick those up. And then we have the transaxle and the arm bushings too, and wheel bearings and seals and everything else at the same time. But the transaxle, we're going to be talking with our buddy over at Seward Speed Shop really soon, in the next week or two, and get that ball rolling. We're going to have a completely rebuilt transmission with new ring and pinion to compensate for the taller tires, and we're going to talk about maybe re-gearing some of the gears in it to get maybe a lower first gear for crawling through obstacles and stuff, and maybe a higher fourth gear to make it a little bit more comfortable at speed on the highway. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. That's going to have to come soon, sooner rather than later.
Another need that I see, it's not just a want, it's a need, is to sound deaden the inside, because it's so loud.
This thing is...
And put in door panels and a rubber mat in the door.
Anything to keep the noise down inside, because it is really loud, especially thanks to this thing right here. And a Volkswagen is loud anyways, because it's a big sewing machine engine back here. But it's, yeah, that's a...
I think that's a need more than a want.
I think so too. I thought that we would be able to put up with it for a while, but yeah. In fact, when we get to it, radio, yeah, at 60 miles an hour, you can't hear the radio.
So we have the radio now.
Yeah, we do have, we put in a radio. I got the cheapest thing I could find, and cheap speakers I could find on Amazon. It doesn't work all that great. It's not really loud, doesn't sound all that great, but it's a radio.
It's music.
It's music. And I mean, we're not big stereo heads, so you know, we have pretty simple needs as far as the radio. But it's in and it works.
Okay, so now we'll get to the wants that we've completed already.
Yeah, things that we don't absolutely have to have.
That you've already done though.
I've already done some of them too, yeah.
So what is a center tunnel sealed?
Here, I'll erase it. Your arms are too short. The center tunnel in here had some cutouts in it from the previous owners. One was to allow access to install the the gas pedal assembly. And then there was another one, yeah, that big gaping hole
where the
there.
cable,
Yeah, you can see cables and stuff in there. Dogs. And Another one, they cut out by the handbrake. They cut some slits in there and peeled the tunnel back. I don't know why, because there wasn't anything behind there. But anyways, I sealed those up with some panels, some patch panels, and that was letting a lot of air in, you know, as you were driving. So that's taken care of. What else we got? Oh, cut off muffler. There was some bolts that were on the muffler that were too long. I cut those off, and it looks a lot better now. What else we got?
Recovery points.
That's nothing that we haven't done that
Oh,
yet. The driver footrest. I put a little footrest on the left side because my feet were going in too far and getting behind the clutch pedal. Because in the Volkswagen, it kind of comes to a V in the front where your feet are. So my foot was getting back in there. So I made a little bracket and bolted it onto the side so my foot could rest on it and not go all the way back in.
Huh, Bigfoot.
Yeah. So I can erase that. All right, what do we have left to do for wants?
And then the rest of the wants, we've already talked about the side Nerf bar,
Yep.
the door panels. Don't erase them because we still need them.
Sorry.
Floor mats we've talked about.
Yeah, the door panels, you're going to take care of that.
Yep.
And they're going to be just the black upholstered door panels, and that'll absorb sound.
Right.
Yeah.
But we need door locks. And the little triangle window that comes out on the driver's side, it needs
Yeah,
the
a little
little
vent window. Yeah, that little latch is
yeah,
gone.
it needs a latch. We need sun visors really badly.
Yeah,
I
we
mean-
went out for a long drive yesterday, and it was really bright and sunny.
It was blinding.
It was blinding.
It
So sun
burned-
visors would work.
Burned my retinas. Okay. We need to paint the body.
That's going to be one of the very last things we do. Because while we're working on it, there's a big chance of scratching it.
Sure.
So in fact, that might not even happen this year. That might even happen next winter.
In a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, 1 year, if that, 9 months, 6 months.
Next, I can't read that. Your handwriting.
Oh, windshield defroster fan.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get one of those little tiny little electric fans and somehow mount it. I mean, maybe up by the mirror or something, just to blow some air on the windshield. Maybe that'll help with the defroster. Because we have no defroster at all in there. So
Which so far hasn't been a problem, but it will be when we
It will
take
be.
trips and it rains
Yes.
and different
Absolutely.
temperatures. Okay, I get it. So then recovery points and winch. We can pick this thing up between the two of us. I'm not sure
I
that
know
we
it.
need a winch.
I'm not so sure, although this thing only weighs less than 1,600 pounds. So, Max, stop it, come here. I'll show you who is causing all the trouble here this morning while we're filming. This is Max. And it's so light that we could use an inexpensive ATV winch on it.
Huh.
But that's down the road. I think that to begin with, I think a set of traction boards will get us out of trouble.
Yeah,
Fine.
and definitely recovery points. Those are important.
Yeah, we have to reinforce the front and rear Nerf bumpers that are on here, get them attached a little bit more secure so you can actually pull and even yank on them a little bit. That's pretty important.
Okay, and then finally, tack.
And cylinder head temperature gauge. We have 2 spots on the dash. Right now we have a fuel gauge, which is unusable. And then we have a vacuum gauge, which is unusable for our application. So I was thinking of replacing one of them with a tiny tack and then the other with a cylinder head temperature. On this new block, this is a fuel injection block, and it comes with a provision for a cylinder head temperature gauge. So I might just do that.
My eyes are glazing over.
Yeah, yeah, but that's down the road. So yeah, this is what we have, and we're going to be adding more stuff over here as we think about it, I'm sure, and more stuff over here too. But it's coming along really nicely. It's drivable. We have a few quirks to work out. I have a problem with the front brakes not releasing pressure as we're driving. So they're hanging up as we're driving, which is causing a problem. And I also have to get it back to Stewart Speed Shop and let them tune up the carburetor. We never really did a good tune on it. We just, when he finished building the engine, we just brought it home, threw it in, and we've been playing with it. But a good tune-up will make that run much better. I'm sure it runs really good, but it stumbles a little bit. And good carb tuning will take care of all that. And yeah, we will keep you informed about what's going on. We're making a lot of YouTube shorts and shorts for Instagram and Facebook. So keep track of those if you'd like. Other than that, what else do we have for them?
That's about it.
That's about it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and if you like this video, hit the like button, and we hope you consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.